Good evening and happy Wednesday. I'm student meteorologist Sammy Squires.
And I'm student meteorologist Melissa Thomas.
Well, we had another wonderful day here in Tallahassee. Nice blue skies, fairly.
Minimal cloud coverage. Got to see that sun. When I walked outside, I heard the birds chirping. There's green in the trees. I mean, this weather it's springtime. Springtime is in the air.
I was just about to say, it finally feels like spring.
Yes, yes.
Especially like you said, the birds are chirping, the flowers are starting to come out, my allergies are coming out.
Yes, allergies are a big one at this time of year, and they are coming full throttle, that is for sure.
I could tell the pollen count is already going up, grass.
You can even see it on your cars as you leave. You can like actively see that count rising.
And it's only going to get worse.
Yes.
But for the forecast today, I mean, it will be gorgeous for the next few days, and then finally the temperature is going to drop a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to get a little bit cooler than average by the 6 to 9 day outlook. Yeah, the next week or so it'll be cooler than average in our region.
And maybe even some rain from that bombogenesis.
Bombogenesis, yes. And that rain is just going to keep fueling the flowers and watering the flowers, and that springtime it's gonna get even better as we move through the end of March, beginning of April.
And we'll go through that more in the show, talk about what exactly a bombogenesis is. But for now, Brantley is actually going to give us a look at the overview.
All right, thanks guys. Here's a look at some of our Tallahassee traffic cameras. Ocala in Tennessee and Woodward at Tennessee, both looking nice right now. No traffic there. Tennessee Street is looking nice all the way through. No brake lights showing up. There is some backups though on Gaines Street near the Duval area. Also as you get closer to Doak Campbell Stadium. Also, here's the view looking over Doak Campbell. Nice weather right now, clear skies with just a few high cirrus clouds there. And that's going to change coming up thanks to this powerful storm system moving across the country. And that's going to keep moving towards the northeast over the next 48 hours or so. And look at all these fronts here attached to it. We're going to have this warm front move through later on tonight, but then in a day or so, we're going to see this cold front come through, and that's going to help bring rain chances. Very small rain chances, just a few pop-up showers, maybe a thin line of storms coming through. Tomorrow, nice and sunny starting off at 9 in the morning, and then flow switches out of the south, helping bring in a little bit more moisture, so we'll see some cloud cover by the afternoon, and then again, those very small rain chances on Friday afternoon. As we get into Friday evening, though, that's when we have a bigger chance for rain, up to around 70% chance there. Tonight in Tallahassee, 61 degrees with mostly cloudy skies, and tomorrow looking like another very warm day out there. 81 degrees is the high, so well above our normal for this time of the year. And taking a preview of the weekend forecast, we hold on to those warm temperatures for Friday and Saturday. Rain chances go up big time on Saturday there and lingering into Sunday when temperatures drop back off as it gets in, as a cold front starts to pass through the area. Now coming up in the show, we do have our warmer than average temperatures continuing for a couple days, a wet start to the weekend, and then we also have a cool down coming up. They're going to talk about that. That's starting off next week when spring break begins, and we also have a look at your St. Patrick's Day forecast. Now we're going to take it over to Sammy with a look at the local weather.
All right, thank you so much, Brantley. So we are still at 78 degrees out right now. It is kind of cloudy outside. That sun is starting to peek away into the clouds. But our big story right now is this giant low pressure system. Now, this low pressure system is even dumping records into parts of New Mexico. Lots of snow through the Denver area. No, we will not get snow here in Tallahassee, but we may get a little rain as this front starts to make its way through our area. Current temperatures 78 near Tallahassee. The coast is a little bit cooler, 70 at Apalachicola, 72 in Carabel. So it's starting to cool down for the remainder of the night. But as far as Leon County, I mean, parts of town are still at 80 degrees. That's very nice for this time of the year. The airport is recording that 78 degrees though for Leon County. Our dew points, they are a little bit higher, looking at the high 50s, so you do feel a little bit of that moisture in the air. It's a little humid outside, but that tends to happen with these warmer temperatures. Tonight in Tallahassee, 61 degrees. It will warm up to about 81 degrees for tomorrow, pretty similar to what we experienced today. Sun and then partly cloudy in the afternoon. Your Thursday planner, warming up from about 8 a.m., 61 degrees. all the way to about 81 degrees by 4 p.m. Those clouds will start to make its way in through the remainder of the night. Expect that low to be around 72 for your Thursday, Friday morning. For your beach forecast, looking at partly cloudy skies tomorrow. But because it's partly cloudy outside, we still have a high UV index, so make sure you bring plenty of sunscreen if you're planning to go out to the beach. And the water is still very chilly since it hasn't warmed up to those spring-like temperatures that we have been experiencing. So if you are going to the beach, be cautious of this rip current advisory that is through 9 p.m. tomorrow. We are cooling down this weekend though, looking at around 64 degrees and even 68 degrees by your St. Patrick's Day weekend. Now, these lows are going to go back into the 40s, but I mean, for Thursday, we're looking at 81 degrees. So if you are traveling on Friday or Saturday, expect maybe a shower or two, so plan for that. But by the week, next week, it's going to be beautiful outside. Looking at 72 for Monday, Tuesday, 67 degrees. So plenty of sun for next week. But for now, Melissa is going to take a look at the southeast.
Thank you, Sammy. So we have a lot to look at. There's a lot that will be moving into the region as the next couple of days progress. And as that occurs in the next couple of days, there's a system in the central United States that's going to be making its way east. And as it makes its way east, it'll relatively switch up the weather for the southeastern region. Currently, though, we have dew points in the low 42s in Atlanta. If you look behind me, 58 in Tallahassee, 68 in New Orleans, a little bit higher, right as that front is moving through the region a little bit closer west of the area. Now, those dew points are a good estimate of what our minimum for the evening might look like. So, checking out behind me, here's the winds moving in from the south, bringing up that moisture from the Gulf, bringing us warm air, higher dew points, kind of a muggier, less dry feeling for the region. So here is what Sammy and I were talking about earlier. Check this out. The bombogenesis in the central United States forming, and it almost looks like an octopus, doesn't it? But it's not. It's a weather system, and it's growing, and it's going to be moving to the south or northeast, and as it does that, bringing weather throughout the southeastern region that you can expect as that traverses the nation. Currently, you're seeing the weather over northern Louisiana, Arkansas, and it will be increasingly moving into Alabama and our territory throughout the next couple of days. There is cloud coverage associated with that. Look at more west of Tallahassee. Locally, we're experiencing clear conditions before that moves through. Here's the rain associated with all of that. See the northeastern track as that forms, and it's going to move and keep a lot of the severe weather north of us. A lot of that rainfall north of us will experience kind of more of scattered chances, but not severe. Not real major severe chances, but we're going to continue to monitor that throughout the next couple of days. So stay tuned as the situation develops and moves across the region throughout the next couple of days. Currently, in the tri-state area of Louisiana, Arkansas, and Mississippi, you can see there's a flash flood watch occurring because of all that rainfall associated with the system. And wind advisories, small craft advisories down at the Gulf. So if you have boating plans, monitor this situation, monitor what the weather is doing as it moves through. So as it moves through in the next couple of days, you can see that increasing cloud coverage to move through the southeastern area, most of the rain staying up north with some scattered isolated chances by Friday afternoon, increasing in the overnight hours Friday. Tonight's forecast, 62 in Tallahassee, a little cooler up north, 63 in Nashville. Shreveport behind the boundary, you have 56 as the cooler air is being evected into the region because of that bombogenesis we're watching. Tomorrow's forecast, you can expect highs in the 80s, high of 80 in Tallahassee, so warmer than average for this season, 81 in New Orleans. A little bit cooler in Little Rock, Arkansas at 66, sunshine in that region. And we can expect in the next week, as this system forms, changes the weather really across the nation. It has a lot of effect that it's going to be doing. Near normal after it moves through the area, warmer than normal temperatures in the southwestern United States. Southern, southeastern area, colder than normal temperatures, which that system is going to help bring into our region. So I'm going to give it back to Brantley and Sammy for the desk.
Thanks, Melissa. Thousands of flights were canceled earlier today as dozens of airports across the Midwest were shut down due to what's being deemed a bomb cyclone. We just learned earlier today that Colorado governor has declared a state of emergency in order to deploy the National Guard there. They're going to start to assist local fire departments in certain areas of Colorado where over 100 people are stranded off of certain roadways and in their homes thanks to heavy snowfall and very high winds.
There is a blizzard warning until midnight tonight. Parts of Colorado Springs, Denver, east of I-25 especially, so it's to stay off the roads, but like you said, people are stranded on the roads who have ventured to travel outside. So it is a very cautious time with all of these snowfall, hurricane force winds.
Yeah, absolutely. It is just a mess over there. Dozens of interstates are shut down. Earlier today, we got reports that in New Mexico, a train was derailed and fell off of a bridge, and dozens of people were injured in that incident as well. And again, it's just all thanks to those very high winds. They're seeing hurricane force wind gusts in several locations across the Midwest right now, some as high as 75 miles per hour.
Yeah, so, and going off of New Mexico too, they actually had a record of 973 millibar pressure. So that is very low pressure. It is a bombogenesis, meaning this is a rapid pressure drop over the last 24 hours, about 24 millibars. So this is dumping lots of severe weather on that area.
Yeah, and just to put that in perspective, usually pressure that low is only associated with like a Category 1 or 2 hurricane. So that just gives you an indication of how strong this storm is right now and how powerful it is as it moves across the nation.
With winter weather as well. So now Melissa is going to give us a look at the local.
Thank you, guys. So looking at the local area, let's start with the Doak Campbell Camp. So with all this activity going on, all this weather affecting everyone's lives, here currently it's calm, cloudy. Sunshine is, very visible. That cloud coverage and particles in the air is probably going to produce an amazing sunset, so keep an eye out. Cloudy conditions, 78 degrees with south-southeast winds at 9 miles per hour. There's that clearness over Tallahassee, probably going to contribute to an amazing sunset. And farther west near Panama City, there's the cloud coverage moving in associated with that bomb cyclone forming over the central United States at the moment. And as we look into our current temperatures, you can see 78 in Tallahassee, 77 Thomasville, and that coastal wind is cooling down Apalachicola at 70 degrees, so nice weather down by the beach. The local temps, that southerly wind, while cooling off the coastal regions, is warming us up. 80 at Midtown, 80 at Tom Brown Park. I mean, these are warmer temperatures. 76 in Lake Talquin. If you're bringing your animals to the dog park at Tom Brown Park, you might want to bring some water because it is warmer temperatures out there. Their dew points are relatively high because of the southerly flow, bringing the moisture off the Gulf Coast. And that is a good estimate of what our minimum might look like this evening. So Monticello 59, 58 in Tallahassee, and Apalachicola at 59. So kind of higher dew points. You're feeling that mugginess, not quite so dry. Here's the winds advecting that moisture off the Gulf into the region at 10 miles per hour in Tallahassee, 10 miles per hour in Apalachicola. So these winds are, they're a little more stronger than normal. Really, honestly, with that system circulating as strongly as it is in central United States, I mean, it's increasing the wind speeds even down here for the evening. Looking at our forecast in the next, by tomorrow morning, we're going to clear out, keep those southeasterly winds directed towards that system, and by tomorrow afternoon, the clouds are going to start advecting into our region. By Friday morning, the cloud coverage gets intense, dominating the region over west of us in Panama City. And you can see the rain starting to move in through that area. Throughout the afternoon, it's isolated chances, maybe some scattered thunder or showers here and there. And it'll be tomorrow night that the more significant chances move into the region. Tonight, our low is 61 degrees, mostly cloudy. And tomorrow, you're going to get up to 81 degrees. That's really warm for right now, which we're going to feel the opposite of that, cooler than average by next week. But for tomorrow, it's warm, partly cloudy. And you're waking up, though, pretty cool at 61 degrees, so maybe prepare some layers to shed by that 4 p.m. high of 81. Beach, forecast is 76 degrees and sunshine, so it's a great time to take advantage of that. And taking a look at your 7-day planner, there's the front that will move through, bringing the rain chances in, but clearing out by Sunday for your St. Patrick's Day. And by next week, we're going to have highs in the low 70s, high 60s, lows in the high 50s or low 50s, high 48s. I'm going to pass it to Brantley now for a look at the national.
All right, thanks, Melissa. We just got information in that there is now a 97-mile-per-hour wind gust in Colorado Springs, and pressure has now dropped to 969 millibars right over here in this area. So that is a very powerful system right now, and it's very, very strong winds associated with that, and that's going to continue for the next 24 hours or so as that system moves across the area. Temperatures are falling behind that system, and so are the dew points. We're seeing dew points drop significantly now down into the 20s and even the teens for parts of the desert Southwest. And meanwhile, on the Gulf Coast, dew points are in the upper 60s and upper 50s for parts of Florida, and that is because a lot of moisture is coming off the Gulf. So the closer this temperature is to the air temperature, the more damp it's going to feel outside, and it's going to keep feeling damp until the system moves through because of all the onshore winds. On the northern Gulf Coast, onshore winds for almost the entire Gulf there, and that's going to help create some marine hazards as well. And then we see the system flowing up into our bomb cyclone, and that is seen here also on our upper level water vapor. Lots of moisture in this blue color north of the Midwest there, and then as we move into Texas, a lot of dry air funneling in behind that system as that cold front starts to move through. We see this cold front here behind this main line of thunderstorms, and then another cold front right behind it, a third cold front behind that. So it's just back-to-back cold fronts bringing in very cold and dry air. Meanwhile, in the northeast, we are seeing some lake effect snow for parts of Pennsylvania and New York right now. Snow mixture as it starts to hit land right there. It's transitioning into rain once it gets over inland portions of New York, but parts of Maine and Canada seeing all snow and sleet at this time. They do have a few watches and warnings there because of that snow, but it's the same winter storm advisories they've seen over and over again this season. Meanwhile, on the Gulf Coast, we do have a line of thunderstorms starting to move through the Arklatex region, and that's going to continue for the next 12 hours or so, and eventually that storm system or that storm line will start to fizzle out as we go into tonight. A wind advisory in effect for this entire southeast area and parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. That's because winds could gust as high as 35 miles per hour in some of those areas. Now, as we zoom into our bomb cyclone here, we see lots of rainfall ahead of this storm here as this continues to rotate counterclockwise behind the main circulation. That's when we see it transition into snow, and a lot of it at that. We have a lot of blizzard warnings and winter storm advisories where the snow is falling, but on the other side of the storm where it's transitioned into rain, we're already starting to see the flood warnings for certain rivers, aerial flood watch for the roadways there, and high wind warnings ahead of that because, again, those winds are just going to keep gusting as we go through tonight. On the other side of it, where things have transitioned into snow, this purple color is indicative of a winter weather advisory. The pink is a winter storm warning, and the red is a blizzard warning, where heavy snowfall and high winds are going to continue for the next 12 to 24 hours. Tonight's forecast, much cooler across the northwestern United States there after that storm's moved through. Temperatures dropping well below freezing into the teens and 20s, into the 30s for parts of the desert Southwest. And tomorrow we're going to see warm temperatures again for the eastern half of the United States and cold behind that system. And our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook as we look towards spring break here, we're going to see temperatures colder than normal for this time of the year for about 5 days or so for parts of the southeast. But meanwhile, parts of the Pacific Northwest are actually going to see warmer than normal temperatures, which they have not yet seen this season.
Of course, it gets colder than normal for spring break.
Absolutely.
And beach time.
Yeah, I'm sure
That's my luck.
the timing just right for that. But a new news story we've been following for the last week or so: earthquakes here on the Gulf Coast.
Really close, just west of Tallahassee, on the line near Florida and Alabama.
That's right. We've had about 3 small-scale earthquakes that have occurred near the Florida-Alabama border. One was near Flomaton, Alabama, one near Brewton, Alabama, and one actually in northwest Florida near between Jay and Century. And they've all been ranging between 2.3 magnitude and 3.1. So small earthquakes, but still some people have felt them, and it is unusual to see that in this area.
Yeah, and it hasn't happened in quite some time, so it feels really rare. But when you look back into the history of earthquakes in Alabama, they actually date back to 1791.
That's right.
1781, I'm sorry,
Oh,
81.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
even
that's-
10 years earlier.
That's really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, the United States Geological Survey, they're the ones that monitor all the seismic activity for the United States. I did talk to one of the people there yesterday, actually, online, and they emailed back to me that it is actually caused by the Bahamas fracture zone meeting up with some of the Appalachian Mountains
Seismic
there.
zone.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Appalachian seismic zone. So it's not unheard of. It is
Yes.
rare, but it's not unheard
You
of to
won't
see
feel it.
these small-scale earthquakes.
Yes.
And they said a few more aftershocks could be felt as well. So we will be monitoring the
Monitoring, because
earthquakes.
they actually tend to think about the small ones could be leading up to a big one. So it's something we'll
Yeah,
be watching. for
yeah,
the
we're
next
gonna
couple months.
keep track of that. So definitely a new thing to see here on the Gulf Coast. But now we're gonna take a look here back at home at our weather in the state of Florida with Sammy.
Okay, thank you guys so much. So we are looking at this giant bombo cyclone right now. You can see we actually have that center of a low pressure situated around those 4 state regions into Colorado, New Mexico. Now, this front extends, bringing lots of precip along the Louisiana, Arkansas region. Here in Florida, though, we could see we don't have too much going on right now, just a little bit of cloud coverage. And you could see that is due to the upper level water vapor making some clouds come through our area. Now, the temperatures right now ranging from about 68 in Pensacola all the way down to about 80 in Key West. Now, pretty cloudy outside throughout the majority of Florida with partial sun through going through the south. Our dew points are pretty high right now. As closer as that gets to the actual temperature, the more sticky it feels outside. So especially in Key West, Miami 65, they're feeling that dew point actually very heavy outside with that air actually very moist. Now our wind is coming primarily from the east, southeast, in parts of the Gulf though. Tomorrow's forecast around Naples, you can see, will be 86 degrees out, while the east coast side of Florida looking about 79 near West Palm Beach, 80 degrees in Fort Lauderdale. So it will be nice and warm throughout that area for tomorrow. Looking at Daytona Beach, they are going to be seeing temperatures around 79 degrees tomorrow, pretty similar down to Vero Beach. 79 as well. Okeechobee around 82 degrees, partial sun throughout that region, and even into central Florida. You can see Gainesville is going to be a nice 86 degrees out, while the coast is seeing a little bit cooler, 77 near Palm Coast, but they are going to be seeing a little bit more sun than Gainesville may be seeing. Looking at the Big Bend, you can see Panama City 77 degrees, while Destin is going to be about 74 tomorrow. Expect maybe a shower or two the closer you get to that front that will be starting to make its way through. Now, we do have this rip current statement that wind is coming from the Gulf right now through 9 p.m. tonight. So you do have just a little bit of surf, especially going onto the beach. Now, UV index is very high. That water is reaching about 2 to 4 feet with waves right now. That water is very cool outside though, 68 degrees for that water temp. You could see the rain will start to make its way through about Friday, so if you have any travel plans, expect a shower or two, especially in the afternoon hours for that Tallahassee region. For tonight's forecast though, 62 for Tallahassee, warming to about 64 for Tampa, and 75 degrees for Key West. Tomorrow's forecast pretty much all in the 80s throughout the coast. If you are in Pensacola, expect a shower. Other than that, very sunny outside.
That's great to hear for the Sunshine State. More sunny conditions on the way. We were warmer than normal today with a high near 79. Our average for this time of the year, only about 73, and we're still holding on to the heat too. 78 degrees. We're starting to see some clouds move into the area, and we're going to see mostly cloudy conditions as we go into tonight. Our big storm system, again, moving across the eastern half of the United States. We have this warm front that's going to lift up over the Gulf Coast in the next day or so before a cold front eventually moves through. So warmer temperatures are expected again tomorrow. 78 right now in Tallahassee, 77 in St. Marks. As you head down to the coast, Carabel and Apalachicola, East Point, St. George Island, those areas are now in the lower 70s, a little bit cooler there, closer to the water. But here inland, we are seeing temperatures generally in the upper 70s. Some places around Tallahassee even hitting the 80-degree mark, like Midtown, McClay Gardens up to 79 right now. It's cooling off a little bit near Lake Talcott. Our dew points right now in the upper 50s, so it is feeling pretty comfortable outside. We're not in that super humid range right now. A little bit higher as you get down to the coast. Carabel there at 61. That's to be expected because the wind is bringing moisture off the Gulf. We're seeing winds generally out of the southwest, anywhere from 5 to 10 miles per hour. Some weather stations reporting gusts up to around 15. We do have a rip current advisory in effect for parts of the Big Bend and the Florida Panhandle. That's going to go through Thursday, and that is because of that onshore flow helping create a very rough surf along the coast and dangerous seas offshore. Our forecast model shows these winds continuing to come off the Gulf for the next day or so, and as cloud cover starts to build back into the region by Thursday afternoon, we'll eventually start to see the wind shift once a frontal system moves through, and that's when we have this band of rain starting to form Friday afternoon before eventually getting close to Tallahassee around this time on Friday, just after 6 o'clock. We'll see wind switch out of the northwest after that passes through. Tonight, mostly cloudy with winds out of the southeast, low temperatures in the 60s, and we're going to hold on to the 60s as we go through the early morning hours tomorrow, warming up pretty quickly, though, in the afternoon into the 70s by lunchtime. Around 4 o'clock, we'll still be hanging on to that 81 degrees, which is the high for tomorrow. Along the coast, though, we're going to see temperatures a little bit cooler, down to around 76 for the Big Bend. We do have a small craft advisory to go because the seas are going to be very rough, as well as the bay seas running at around 4 to 6 feet. A cool down is expected this weekend once that front does finally move through. We do have high rain chances ahead of that front, though, on Friday, lingering into Saturday, but then beautiful weather does return to the area as we head into the later parts of the weekend and early next week. Looks like nice weather in store for St. Patrick's Day with a high near 68 and mostly sunny skies.
Looking to be a little colder in the mornings too, which
Yeah,
isn't bad.
which is
I
not
mean,
bad.
temperatures looking high of around 70 throughout next week. It will be a beautiful week if you are going to be staying in Tallahassee for your spring break.
And to start your spring break off, as the thunderstorms and rain moves through the area, thankfully that clears up by Sunday. And if you have any St. Patty's Day festivities planned, you are looking good with some sunshine.
Yeah, I mean, Friday, Saturday, not looking the best though. Especially with the temperature being in the 80s for
Warm,
Friday.
warm. Prepare layers.
You're going to feel
cool.
very
You're gonna wanna
sticky
shed
and
some.
wet on your skin
Yep.
with the chance of thunderstorms too. But I mean, by next week, it will be gorgeous outside.
Springtime weather returns.
Yeah, with those temperatures in the mornings though,
Pretty
I mean,
low, yeah.
it's starting to get very low. But we will be cooling down. So,
And-
hey, follow us on Twitter throughout your spring break.
And if you get any great pictures, send them to us via Facebook, FSU Weather.
Yep, and make sure you watch us live on YouTube. We are not going to be in session, though, during spring break.
And Instagram as well, another source to send your amazing weather pics as the weather deteriorates in the next couple of days and then clears out for spring break.
But hey, I mean, a little rain will be good for us
Yes.
here because we haven't had much lately.
It'll be great for springtime, watering those flowers and blooming those flowers
Well,
next
I'm
week with the sunshine.
I'm student meteorologist Amy Squires.
And I'm student meteorologist Melissa Thomas.
Have a great night.